has a funny way of showing what it's meant to be. Had to learn everything I was meant to see wasn't meant for me. I guess
Well, it started from a quiet night around 2 o'clock in the morning. I had this idea and I made a song called Lessons. I wasn't planning to do an album. I just was writing and recording. But sharing that song online, it really gave me a great reaction. And I think some of the marketing ideas and some of the just ideas I had about attention. I feel like we're in the attention business now more than we're in the music business. And here's a song that caught the world's attention. Let's act upon it, you know. And the song has been very rewarding. It's been probably my biggest song in quite some time. And but put us in a great move to make some other great songs that complement it. And so Lessons is the album is 11 songs that I truly love. I think people are going to really enjoy, and it tells a nice little story and allows people to think, you know, and hopefully take your mind off of what you might be going through right now, or remind you of another period that makes you smile, you know. Well, you know, interesting enough, the first thing was it allowed me to do a lot more things with my kids. I'm very hands-on with my kids, but, you know, not leaving the house and them virtually doing school as well. I was able to teach my kids how to ride bikes, taught all of them how to swim, you know, like the extra time. Like I just really enjoyed the extra time we were able to have. But then, you know, interesting enough, sooner or later we were like, all right, well, we got these cameras, we got these green screens, let's figure something out. And I'll be honest with you, at one point I got busier than I ever was. We were doing virtual shows, a few a week. So we were almost on tour. Just the tour was in my basement, you know? And that was cool. I think it kind of itched a scratch for me, you know, because I love performing, I love singing. We just had to learn how to sing in a different way. We had to learn how to sing and read. You know, I had to read the chat as I was singing. But it was really good. But I'm happy to be back on the road and actually have you know, real faces in front of me now, not a screen. So I've been teaching at Berklee College of Music in Boston for going on 4 years now, and it's been great. I think a lot of the marketing ideas, a lot of the creativity that I think people see, some of the shift that I've applied to my music and to my art, I think comes from my students challenging me. If I give them an idea, they're like, well, why are you not doing it? You know? And I think also, I didn't expect that when a student would ask me a question, that it would sit on my heart and in my mind almost the entire time till the next week I saw them, you know? So imagine if 20 kids asked you a question a week. Those questions ricocheted through my mind all the time. And I think processing all that made me a better writer, made me a better businessman, because I was trying to answer to apply to them. And as we find and we figure out truth, it only improves me too, because I have to apply it as well. But it's been great. It's been great. It's a lot of work. It's way more work than I thought it was going to be. More because I really care. Like I said, I can't get that idea out of my mind. But it is a blessing, and the students are absolutely incredible. I know that the music business is in good hands. I know creativity is in good hands because I see it, you know, a couple of times a week in class, and it's been a pleasure working with the students at Berklee. I think it's freeing. First, you know, somebody say it may be stressful because you have to wear so many hats, but I like hats. So, you know, it works for me. You know, for me, I think I learned a long time ago, I took a minute to really define what success meant for me and how I saw it, how I perceived it. And for me, success is creativity and getting an idea out of my head and making it tangible and seeing how it moves. it's not necessarily how many people it moves. It's not the numbers and having the billboards all over New York City. That would be great. That would be nice. But it means something to know that when I walk on stage, 95% of the people out there, I earned them. I earned them because I won them over. I shook their hands. I gave them a hug. I remembered them when I came back to town. And I wrote something from the bottom of my heart that connected to the bottom of their heart, you know? And it will be great to have the major budgets and the heavy push, but now we're used to it. I think a long time ago, I had a chance to see how the industry worked. And I was nowhere near the first independent artist. I saw a lot of people who were doing it before me and with me. And a lot of my friends were getting signed and they had great careers. I was always curious, like, what happens if you just keep going this way? What happens if you don't sign? Like, what happens? What happens if you keep applying what you learn? And we're here 21 years later, 17 albums later. We're able to, I have no want for anything more, you know, except for the betterment of others. I want to be able to pay my band more and pay my staff more, sure, you know, but we've been great. It's been a beautiful ride. And I feel like we're only getting stronger. You know, the song Lessons, it shows me that my pen is only getting stronger. My voice is only getting stronger. So let's just keep going and see what happens. It's very freeing. A million. A million. I mean, the list is too long. You know, my go-to is always Erykah Badu. I'm a huge fan of her writing. She's written some of the most incredible songs, and it just makes you go like, how did you come up with that? Wow. So a lot of people, I mean, with her specifically, I would just want to watch her in the studio. I would want to see how an idea starts and how it finishes. Another person was Bill Withers. Unfortunately, he passed a couple of years ago. But when I hear his music, I'm first moved by the music, and then I'm just occupied with like, how did he put that together? You know, I would have loved to just watched him put it together. The list goes, but the list is long. Jasmine Sullivan, I'm so impressed by her pen right now. I've known Jasmine since she was a little girl sneaking into Black Lily and stuff like that. Or shall I say a little kid who should have been in Black Lily but tearing the place down. Another person, I don't even know if I want to collab. I just might want to just watch, like, how did you put that together, you know? If I could collaborate and contribute, I would be down to do that. But at the same time, my desire is probably more to be a fly on the wall and just see how Jay Electronica writes a verse, you know, or how Just Blaze puts together a production. I guess it's just endless. I'll be a kid in the candy store. I want to shout my whole staff, and that's mistaken. I shouldn't do this because it's growing and I might miss somebody. But of course, Sweet Locks, who's my right hand, Jarrell, who's one of my best friends, been with me for as long as we can remember. We had ideas of doing music. Anshia, who is my other right hand, Demo, my hype man, but you know, also the road manager, and he wears just as many hats as I'm probably wearing. My dad, who's been a business partner of mine for a long time, once he retired, he joined in. If you have a CD that's been shipped to you or any product's been shipped to you, 9 times out of 10, my dad sent it to you. Even if you bought it at a record store, my dad sent it to that record store. So, you know, he's been connected to almost everybody I've been connected to. Of course, my mom is also a partner to this as well. Very important. Elsa, who's not with me any longer, but of course the foundation of what we built, we wouldn't be here without Elsa, and how much she impacted this label. Chad, who is new, shout out to Chad. Look, see, I'm getting in trouble now. Sydney, Raphael, my publicist, and let me think. Oh man, because I'm trying to think who. I'm like forgetting somebody like really, really close. But that's the core right now. That's the core. If we have a business meeting tomorrow, that's who's going to be sitting in there. But just shout out to everybody who's supporting and making this happen, and shout out to my process members as well. Like I have a thing called the process where everybody watches me. Everything I create, they get a copy of. So they've had this album for months. And I really enjoy that. So anyone who wants to join the process, go to jointheprocess.com and you can join it and be a part of it.